All right, interest rates are high, but everything in the market really is pushing in favor of the buyer. Let's look at the numbers and then talk about some of the nuance involved with interest rates and how we could get yours to come down. All right, my name's Christopher McGee. I'm the owner of Halcyon Real Estate. Halcyon Real Estate is affiliated with the Keller Williams Market Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Today is the 30th of October. Happy Halloween tomorrow. This is the numbers and the nuance. Every week, every Monday, you come here to know what the right now market in Utah looks like. And we'll get right into those numbers, but really quick before we do, just know that if you want more detail on what each of these numbers mean that we're going over, you can look at my real estate numbers explained video that's flagged at the top right of your screen right now. You can get solid on all of that, but right now let's jump into the numbers for what the prior week looked like. All right, we always look at inventory first, and as of this morning when I looked at it, we were sitting at 9,620 in inventory. Active homes on the market available for sale right now. And that's just down just barely from the previous week. It's down 3 from the previous week, and this is clearly still trending up. Average days on market the previous week came to 47, and that is up from the previous week, and we can see this is also trending up. The average list price of homes in Utah last week came to $642,921, which is up a bit from the previous week. We can see this still trending up. I do believe it is trending down overall starting as of just a few weeks back. I've talked about that the last couple of weeks. Now our average sold price was $628,106, which means the difference between average list and average sold price came to $14,815, which is down further away from no difference between list and sold price than we had the previous week. And we can see that this is trending slightly down. Number of homes sold last week came to 461, which is up just a bit from the previous week, but this number is trending down. The number of homes currently under contract comes to 4,188, which is down from the previous week, trending down. The number of price reductions on active homes last week came to 1,017, which is up from the previous week, and this is trending up. And the number of listing contracts that were either canceled, expired, or withdrawn this previous week came to 361, which is down from the previous week, but still trending slightly up. All right, so all of those numbers are currently trending in favor of the buyer. Everything with the exception of list price and sold price, which are on their way down. I've talked about that for the last couple of weeks. I'm just not calling it a trend yet, but I do fully expect that to begin to trend down. Interest rates, however, are still high and climbing depending on the day, right? So I wanna take a moment today and just spell out for you how with interest rates as high as they still are, we may be able to make sense of you buying a home still. Okay, so let's say you're looking to buy a home around 500K. Let's just use 500K for our example number here. And you go online and you see that interest rates are about 8%. And of course, interest rates are more nuanced than that, but we're just gonna use that number for now because it's close enough to the current reality. So you're online, you find a mortgage calculator and you put in that for this 500K home, you're gonna make a 10% down payment, so 50K. And you've got an interest rate at 8% on this 500K home. And you see that this will bring your monthly payments to around $3,800 a month, and you're like, this is stupid. If I could have been in a position to buy a home just 5 years ago, this home for 500K now would have been 300K then at a 4% interest rate or lower, and I would have been paying like $1,600 a month on this mortgage. I totally get it. I totally get it. We're gonna come back to this 500K home example in a moment. Right now, there's 3 very important things for everyone to understand. First, if you're waiting for interest rates to come down, you may be waiting another couple of years. Even if they start coming down next year, they're not going to plummet. What they're going to do is come down slowly, and they're not going to get back to the rates that we had 3 years ago. We're not gonna see 4, 3, 2% interest rates again for a long time, if ever. We're gonna come slowly down and probably hover around 6% because about 6% is a healthy place for an economy to run. 4, 3, 2% interest rates were unsustainable, and if you're waiting for that to come back down, you think it should come back down to that point, you don't understand that 2% interest rates are not a mark of a healthy economy. So important thing number one to understand right now, don't expect interest rates to be coming down in a hurry, and definitely don't expect them to come down to where they were 3 years ago. Important thing to understand number two, if you're waiting for house prices to plummet, you will probably wait for the rest of your life and you will get increasingly frustrated as you get older, which is not a good way to live. Look at home prices in the state of Utah from the year 1975 to the present. There's one instance of home prices dropping significantly across that near 50-year period, obviously from 08 to 2011, housing crisis years, right? And guess what? Just before 08, interest rates were on a downward trajectory, and then in 08, they came up higher and stayed up higher for a couple of years while the Fed was trying to balance the economy. Sound familiar? If home prices are dropping significantly, interest rates are high. You don't get both of these numbers to drop at the same time. So important thing to understand number two, don't wait for home prices to plummet. They will come down slowly probably over the next couple of quarters and maybe a little bit longer. We don't really know for sure, but we do know that the conditions that need to be in place for home prices to plummet don't really exist in Utah, certainly not at this point. It doesn't look like they're around the corner. Hyper low housing demand and lots of people losing their jobs, not so much here in Utah. Important thing to understand number three, a housing market like this one, where interest rates are high and everything about the market seems to be pushing in favor of buyers, is precisely the market in which your buyer's agent can negotiate for the seller to buy down your interest rate. Let's look at that $500K home at 8% interest where your payments are looking like about $3,800 a month. Did you know you can reduce the interest rate on that and have the seller pay for that interest rate reduction to the tune of 1%, or even for the first few years of your mortgage, 2 or 3%. And during those few years, when the interest rates come down, you can refinance at a new low point for your interest rate and have that be the interest rate for the remainder of the term of your mortgage. So what do interest rate reductions look like in this specific instance? Okay, we got a $500K home at 8% interest rate and you're paying about $3,800 a month. If this were a 7% interest rate, you'd be paying $3,500 a month. If this were a 6% interest rate, you'd be paying $3,200 a month. If this were a 5% interest rate, you'd be paying $2,900 a month. If this is looking more doable for you, because we just came down $900 a month on your mortgage payment. If this is looking more doable for you, man, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation about how we can do this for you, and I'll include a mortgage broker in our conversation so we know exactly what your numbers should look like. So to recap, don't expect interest rates to come down anytime soon. 2, don't expect home prices to plummet. And 3, understand that this is the kind of market where I can negotiate for your interest rate to be bought down by the seller. And that can be a dramatic difference in what your monthly payments look like. All right, thanks for watching. If this has been valuable for you, hit that like button. And if you think understanding what the right now market looks like would be valuable to you over time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to stay educated on Utah's housing market. And of course, if you or anyone else you know is looking to buy or sell a home in Utah in the coming months, I hope you'll reach out to me. You want to work with an agent who always has your best interests in mind and knows the market like the back of their hand and is very communicative. All things I aspire to be to make the process as stress-free as possible for you. We'll see you next week.